external fixators are a real pain in the behind. We make the holes big so that you don't get a lot of drag when you run the pins through them, so don't be alarmed by that. Big holes close down to small holes. If you make small holes to start with, they get bigger and get infected. So the first thing to do, you're trying to keep the skin from sliding up and down the pin tracked area, and you can't effectively put on, step this way. You can't. It's very difficult to push the gauze through somewhere. It's a lot easier to pull it. So if you go with your hemostat, left-handed, and pull it through. Pull it through. Get that on both sides. And I've got Manuka honey is what we're putting on the pin tracks for the on the gauze area. You can use Neosporin, triple antibiotic ointment. Usually, scrub up the area with some chlorhexidine and probably could have these be a little bit longer slices in there, but it's fine. And you only really have to do this for the first couple weeks, and you change it like every other day and every third day, progressively less frequently. Then you've got to pull your gauze through to, again, fill these spots up so that there's not drag, and you want to pull the same direction that you pulled your telfa, or you're going to just push the telfa out. It's got to have it snug. So the skin's not sliding up and down, because that's a good way to get the motion, increased drainage, and increased infection. Once the pin tracks have closed down so they're fairly tight against the pins and they're not draining significantly, then all you have to do is wrap a vet wrap bumper around the fixator. I did the one side of the pins that's longer is smooth. I didn't cut them because then they would be sharp. The side with the shorter ones, I did Dremel them, but they are still a little bit sharp, so be careful. The other side. Which way did I pull through? Usually just one or two gauze to do this, and you usually are having to sedate the pet early on. You start getting days out and they're not as uncomfortable. It's a bigger spot here. And then just your and I just kind of figure eight it to get it to stay on. Trying to keep it, just cover up the pins and keep the whole thing in place. That side. This will leave the rest of all the wounds on the skin and the foot exposed, So you can do some wound care. I would do Manuka honey on those also, and obviously keep the e-collar on them so you can't lick it and super infect it. Same thing with the roll gauze, just a layer or two of that. And then just a layer of that wrap after we've not entirely sure that I could do a figure of 8 backwards like this. I'm still not entirely sure. You really only have to be worrying about sterility on your primary layer. Just try to minimize, don't let it get wet and everything like that on your other layers. If it gets wet, it needs to be changed sooner. Same thing, figure 8s, get things covered, and then just go around, cover the whole thing up. They are threaded pins, so if you end up deciding to remove something, the blunt side of the pin is the back portion. The cut portion was the sharp portion, so that's the forward end, so you either pull forward from the front end or you back them out from the back end. That's that.